Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live. I am your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host, Ben. Sean cannot join us tonight as he's doing some family things. Anyways, the CFP rankings just came out as of, 20 minutes ago, 15, 20 minutes ago. And it was very interesting because there was all the talk about Notre Dame, Miami, should head-to-head matter? People have been complaining all week, actually the last couple weeks, about Notre Dame and Miami and the games have to matter, blah, 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 blah. Well, tonight, the College Football Playoff Committee stated that they did compare Notre Dame and Miami. They were in the same tier, the same pool. They did consider the head-to-head between them, and it still didn't matter. And they viewed Notre Dame as a team that is 3 spots better. Ben, we got our answer. Miami fans got their answer. Ari Wasserman got his answer. How do we feel about it?
Realistically, what we need to see here is that this is the committee saying right now Notre Dame, everything else with Notre Dame football compared to Miami, even with the head-to-head, is better. Now, Miami has to play Pitt this week, who's a top 25 team, who's number 22 in the country. They have to go to Pitt, same way Notre Dame had to go to Pitt. So maybe they're saying, like, hey, we're giving Miami the opportunity to show that they belong, and that maybe that adds up. The big thing I'm noticing here is that they're putting us 3 spots ahead of Miami. So my question is how much better do they see us better than Miami, even with the head-to-head loss involved? Because they said they grouped us together this week. I think what they wanted to see was they wanted to have Miami be in the top 12 before they even compete with playoff teams. Where they even, because realistically, Utah is not better than Miami. Utah's not better than Miami. Utah got blown out against Texas Tech. They lost a close one to BYU. But besides that, they've played UC, who's an okay team. Like what would probably be under 500 in the Big 10 in the Big 12 or in the SEC. And realistically, if they played Tech they probably lose that game too. But I think what they're saying here is that even with this loss, or even with Notre Dame's loss to Miami head-to-head, Notre Dame just looks that much better than Miami overall. And they look that much better than Alabama. They look that much better than BYU. I think that's what they're saying. Now, realistically, is this also because of how far apart they would be? Because let's be real here. If you're going to move Miami ahead of Notre Dame, you would have probably had to move Miami up all the way to 10, jumping BYU, who's a one-loss team.
Yeah.
So that could also do with it as well. What they're probably thinking is the resume for Miami does not justify moving them above BYU, Alabama, and Notre Dame. So there's still a world where there's still the other 20. I said the other 25%. It's probably closer to the other 20% right now. There's still that 20% we don't make it. If BYU BYU beats Texas Tech, and one thing I heard someone say was Alabama beating A&M and Tech beating BYU, we get moved to 10, Miami jumps to 11. Maybe they say it's comparable enough to where head-to-head matters. But right now, it really seems like they saw that Syracuse game, and they're seeing all these other games we're blowing teams out by, and they're seeing Miami against similar teams not blowing them out by that much and not doing that well. Because Miami realistically, they only won by 10 against Virginia Tech, and again, Virginia Tech was in probably until the fourth quarter.
And they called timeout to make it look like they called a timeout to take a shot play with 24 seconds left. The game's over, to make that score look better than it actually was. I think, and I saw Miami fans on Twitter bring up, because they did talk about live on the playoff committee, the ranking show, about the Syracuse game, right? The 38-10 and the 70-7, and that they looked at that a lot. And Miami fans were like, well, why didn't they look at the NC State, where we beat NC State by 5 more points? You know why? Because it wasn't that drastic of a score difference.
A 5-point difference in a win is not the same as a 35-point difference in a win.
We almost doubled up Miami's total in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's
also, Miami realistically did not look good to start that game. I remember in the group chat we were talking about Miami could possibly lose this game because they started off really bad. We looked good throughout the whole entire game, and we dominated throughout the whole entire game. We dominated our third stringers on the field, which I think says more about Syracuse and makes them question why didn't Miami do that to Syracuse.
Well, and also what Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco on their show talked about they think Notre Dame pulled kids out of the stands to play in that fourth quarter.
Like, our third stringers played the whole fourth. The only second stringer that played in the fourth quarter was Kenny Minchie and Cam Williams. And Cam Williams is a straight, like a borderline third stringer who's barely playing into the second.
Well, and the thing, we weren't, like, I saw Miami fans after the game talking about how we were running the score up.
No, we weren't. We were running the football. They couldn't tackle us. Realistically, we left 7 points on the field because of Nate Heinich's fucking stupid ass roughing the passer. It's just, but it's fine. At the end of the day, the committee knows what's up, and I think right now that's what they're saying. Now, of course, at the end of the day, Miami can go to Pittsburgh this weekend and do the same thing to Pittsburgh that we did to them, and maybe that brings it closer and there brings in questions. I don't really know. We'll look at it when it comes to that.
Let's talk about that real quick. We'll get into our picks later, but how do we feel? I think Miami, for them to even have a shot, I think they need a lot of help in front of them, but I also think they need to beat the shit out of Pitt on Saturday, and I think they need to look just like Notre Dame did. They need to win by 21 or more. But to me, I think it's going to be hard for them to do because it's going to be a high of 31, a low of 24. It's going to be a noon kick. It's supposed to be overcast. You're right by it's a river, right? Not a lake.
Yeah, it's a river.
Yeah. You're right by the river, so you have that, all that. It's way colder when you're by a river than it is just in general. And Miami's roster is mostly kids from the state of Florida that have probably never once played in cold weather like that. I think it's going to be hard. I think Miami could still win, but I think it's going to make it hard for them to blow a team out when you're playing in weather like that. You kind of agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and talk.
I think they could go on back to that. I think they can blow them out. I think it's definitely possible. But acting like that, this team realistically has not practiced, played, had any football games, any football activities in that cold of weather is going to hurt them. I don't think they're going to lose because of it. I think they could still blow them out. I don't really know what's going to happen in the game just because I'm not going to make my decision based off how cold it is.
Yeah. But we saw the weather affect Notre Dame.
That was a little different when our players aren't able to get onto the field, period. Being in the cold and feeling a little hurt is different than cramping up and being forced to come out of the play. I think I don't think it will be. I see a lot of people saying like, "Oh, Carson Beck's got to get hit one time. He's got to be out." I don't think it's got to be a Stars. I think it's got to be the rotation guys, like your wide receivers, your tight ends. They run a two running back backfield. Sometimes they'll do that 2-back set. And then their linebackers will be a big part of it as well. I think their corners, they really only play the main part of the game.
I just feel like every time we see a team from Florida or California have to play in the cold, we see it at all levels. High school, college, NFL, when they have to go play on the road in a very cold environment that they're not used to playing in, it typically affects the game. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. All right, let's go ahead and get to our next topic. We'll just break down this game that me and you were both at. Notre Dame on senior day gives probably the worst belt to ass you've ever seen in Notre Dame Stadium.
We had more points than we had pass attempts.
We had more points than we had passing yards.
We had more points. I think we had more points than we had plays ran. Actually, that might be.
We did. We had double the points that we had plays.
Yeah, that was an absolute murder. And this is one of those things where I think the committee's got to see, because I understand Syracuse, they're not good. That team was not good. Miami fans trying to say they have 3 ranked wins. Okay. I'm sorry, I just saw it on Twitter. I'm like, these guys are fucking dumb as hell. But this is still a Division I Power 4 team. This team probably still wins 8 games in a group of 5 conference. Like they're gonna look at it and be like, hey, you completely murdered the Power 4 Division I team. And a lot of people are blaming the quarterback. It's like, oh, well, they didn't have their starting quarterback. Like, the quarterback had nothing to do with half of this shit. The quarterback wasn't the one forced to tackle Jeremiah Love. The quarterback wasn't the one blocking on punts. Like, 14 points came out of quarterback play. The rest all came out of Notre Dame being dominant.
Yeah, I think it says a lot. Like, and again, people can say Syracuse isn't good. I don't think they're good. Right? Nobody's going to sit up here and say they're a good team.
Yeah, they're not. Like,
but we saw Alabama play Eastern Illinois, and they didn't even put up 70 points.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think people are gonna I don't think people understand like how hard it is to put 70 points on a Power 4 Division I football team. Yeah, it's hard to put 70 points on any football team.
It's hard to put 70 points on an FCS team.
Yeah, like when Minnesota blew out that one team to start the season, that was very impressive. Minnesota isn't good, but it's still impressive. Like, who was it that they played? I know UC played in the next week. It was a blowout. But like even Minnesota struggled to put 70 points. We got 70 points with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And realistically, if we wanted to, we could have scored 100 in that football game.
Yeah.
Like and that's the thing. It's like I think it was notice the
Minnesota played an FCS school in Northwestern State, and they still didn't score 70 points.
Yeah.
Like it's just hard to put 70 plus points on a team.
It's also like what they put the stat on the scoreboard. It's the most points in Notre Dame Stadium since 1933 when Notre Dame played some, I don't know, I've never even heard of it, but they put 73 on them. But it's the most that any team has scored on a Power 4 team in the modern era since they've kept track of that. Like, it doesn't happen ever. Like, it's very, like, this is like the first time it's happened. So, to put up 70 on a Power 4 team, like, I remember, was it TCU? I want to say back in the Trayvon Boykin days, put up 81 on an FCS team. But that just doesn't happen very often, like, if at all. So, I think that's what makes it impressive. It's not impressive just blowing out Syracuse, right? But it's impressive putting 70 on Syracuse, and they didn't score until 7 seconds left in the game.
I have this list pulled up. 1 second. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, wait, they weren't perfect. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's only been 15 times since 2000 a Power 4 team has put up 70 points in a game. 15 times. That's less than one a year. Actually, a lot of them happened in 2014.
Yeah.
A lot of it was Baylor. Shout out the Baylor Bears. All three of them were Baylor. One of them was against West Virginia.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this was a statement. Personally, I think this was.
It was.
I think Notre Dame went out there. They heard all the noise about the Miami head-to-head, and I get Freeman's like, well, we don't pay attention to that. I think the players, they probably do hear it, right? Because everybody has phones, everybody has social media. It's impossible not to see. I saw Ethan Long like a few tweets and Instagram posts about the Notre Dame Miami thing, so I know that they see it, right? I think this was a big fuck you to Miami and the people that are bitching about the head-to-head, and a big committee. We dare you to keep us out of the playoff. We dare you. So I think, again, it's a statement. Defense played amazing, 21 points before CJ Carr even got to take a snap.
I think that's the other thing. I don't think we came into this like, oh, we're going to score 70 points on him. I think it was, oh, we just scored 21 points and our offense hasn't touched the field. We have to go out there and score at least 20 or 30 points now as an offense. And that's what they did. Like, they dominated. Like,
yeah. Like, what I thought it was like we had 5 offensive plays at the end of the first quarter, and we had, was it 35 or 42 points? Like, I've never seen an ass whooping at Notre Dame Stadium like that. I don't like that was. I mean, was it the Florida State game last year where we dropped 56 or 63, one of the two? Um, that was probably the biggest blowout I've seen at Notre Dame Stadium, and even then, it wasn't like we weren't up 49-0 at halftime on Florida State. Like it was like what 21-7 or something
No, we
like
were.
that.
It was a gradual blowout. Like
Yeah,
we weren't up by that much.
yeah,
But like we were up 42-0 in the first
yeah,
half. It was
yeah. I,
That's something you
I,
don't see. That's something you can't sit there and say, "Oh, well, Miami and Notre Dame are comparable after Notre Dame just beat a team 70-7." Now you could say that like if Notre Dame comes out this week and only covers the spread,
yeah,
maybe, and then Pitt goes out there and lays a goose egg and Miami drops like 30 points, like Miami wins by 30. You could say that possibly.
yeah.
But this week they couldn't say it. And I think that's why this upcoming week against Stanford, we kind of just need to go out there and we need to take care of business. We're better than Stanford. I don't know what we're on the spread. I didn't check it. I haven't checked betting for college football this week. I don't bet on rivalry week.
We're favored by less to beat Stanford than we were last week against Syracuse.
Well,
We're
Stanford's a better team than Syracuse. So that's understandable.
32.5 is the spread.
I think if we cover the spread against Stanford, I think we're fine. I think we're set, assuming other things.
I will say Stanford's better than they were last year.
Stanford's a lot better this season period. Like they played that close game with Miami, and Miami fans like don't bring up the NC State like 10-7 at halftime because guess what? We're not gonna be tied with Stanford at halftime.
Yeah.
And if we
Yeah.
are, actually, let me knock on wood.
If we are, then we're concerned.
Yeah, then we're concerned. I don't think we will be. Who knows? Frank Wright, he hates the state of Indiana. Same with Andrew Luck.
Yeah. I think this is going to be another. I think that's going to be another J Love game. But yeah, one final thing on this game, we got to talk about it. The Jeremiah Love Heisman campaign,
It's in there.
I feel like has just exploded over the last week or so. Especially after this game, I feel like every national writer and person that I typically value their opinions, they've had Jeremiah Love as the number one or number two player in the country right now, and number one or number two player for the Heisman. They just released the finalists for the Doak. Love's gonna win the Doak, like running away. It's him, Lacey from Ole Miss, and Hardy from Missouri. I think Love's gonna get that. Love's
basically, yeah. I was gonna keep going.
the Maxwell. He is also, which is the best. The word it goes to, the best player in college football.
I think him being a finalist for that secures him a spot in New York.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're like. Usually, the Maxwell. I can't remember the last time a Maxwell Final Three didn't make it to New York. It might have been. I don't even know.
Maybe Bailey Zappi.
Maybe Bailey Zappi was Maxwell. He was up for the Maxwell, but I don't. Was he in the Final Three? I knew he was in the top five.
He was in the top five, but he didn't get invited to New York. Yeah.
Zappi, and then maybe no, because Henry won it that year, but he didn't win the Maxwell. It was one of the odd years that the Maxwell didn't go to the Heisman.
But yeah, I still think Love has guaranteed himself a spot in New York. But I think he still needs just a little bit more to have a legit shot to win it. I think that it helps that Sayan didn't play great this past weekend. I think it helps that Mendoza has been playing kind of worse the last couple of weeks.
I wouldn't say it's worse, but they're not getting the stats that you expected them to get.
And was it like Pavia? Pavia had a great weekend this past week, so he's kind of vaulted up there. I just think that the problem is, first of all, it's a quarterback award, which is fucking stupid, right? Because I think most people would say Jeremiah Love, outside of maybe Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith, is the best player in college football in totality. I think he's a better player than Mendoza. He's a better player than Sayan. He's a better player than Pavia, right? Just based off of just being a player. It sucks because it is a quarterback award, but I think what's helping him is the quarterbacks that everybody thought the last few weeks. Oh yeah, give it to Ty Simpson. Oh yeah, give it to Mendoza. Oh yeah, give it to Sayan. They're not taking that opportunity and running with it. It's like whoever the top guy is for the Heisman that week, it's like they play okay. Like it's not great. It's okay. And then meanwhile, Jeremiah Love has 171 yards on 8 carries and 3 touchdowns. Like that's the thing. I think he needs to go off again against Stanford, right? Have a huge game. And then I think it comes down to how does Mendoza and Sayan play against each other in the Big Ten title?
I think realistically, like in my mind, it's got to come down to this. Neither of these quarterbacks have 3,000 passing yards yet. They haven't hit it yet. There's been only 3 quarterbacks to win the Heisman and have less than 3,000 passing yards. One was Eric Crouch, who had 1,500 passing yards, but he had 1,100 rushing yards. One was Cam Newton, 2,800 passing yards, but he had 1,400 rushing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. And then the other one was Troy Smith, who had 2,500 yards. He didn't even have 3,000 all-purpose yards, but he had, I think it was, 40 total touchdowns. The big thing with this is that Mendoza doesn't have the rushing stats that he can get without getting 3,000 passing yards, and neither does Sayan. So I think if both of them come out this week and they don't get it, I think that gives Jeremiah Smith a chance if he does what he did last week. If he gets like 170 yards, then I think at 3 touchdowns, he has a great chance.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset where I think Love's going to be in New York. I do think because, and they talked about this on ESPN the night after on college football final. The thing to look at with the Heisman race is Love has Stanford left, right? If he goes off against Stanford, he's going to solidify that he's going to put himself in a very good chance to win it. But it all comes down to Indiana and Ohio State playing in the Big Ten title. And the thing is, I think that's going to be a defensive game. Like, I don't think
it should come out.
Yeah, it should. Game. I don't think you're going to see crazy stats from Mendoza. I don't think you're going to see crazy stats from Sayan. What happened the last time Sayan played against a team that had a good defense? Texas, right? It wasn't.
In zone defense, that was his first ever career start.
That was his first game. Like Michigan, I also think Michigan is a chance for Sayan to kind of solidify his Heisman case.
I think if Sayan comes out and throws for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, doesn't throw a pick, he has like above a 70% completion percentage, then it's gonna basically, unless something happens, like if Love goes out and runs for 200 and fucking 4 touchdowns, that changes. But realistically, it sets it up to be completely different.
I feel like I know the answer to this question because I personally I have my answer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're up on Stanford,
no, take him the fuck out of the game. I do not give a shit about the Heisman. Take him the fuck out of the fucking game. I said it, and what did I say? And I put in the group chat. I said Love should not play a single snap in the second half. Now he played 1 snap, and he took it to the house, but he shouldn't play a single snap in the second half. Jeremiah Love does not care about the Heisman if it means that it's going to cost him the national championship. If it's a perfect world, he wins the Heisman and wins the Natty. That's one thing. I think he's got to be way more upset if he doesn't give his team the best shot at winning the national championship.
And if he gets hurt, knock on wood.
If he gets hurt,
because you decide to keep him in the second half to try to stat pad against.
Freeman might get free, or Denbrock, Freeman, whoever fuck controls it's got to get their ass run out by Twitter, by us, by the ADs, by the boosters. They're gonna get their shit ran through.
And I saw some people say, "Well, Genty did it," but Genty got hurt. Like they did that. He was hurt going into the playoff because they did that shit.
Well, the big thing with it too is Genty did that, but he also did that knowing that he had to play in a conference championship game as well. So I think Genty was fully committed to saying, "Hey, use me the best way you can," like. Because I think Genty understood, like, we could be a group of 5 team that gets a first round bye and it gives me time to get ready, which helped them in the playoffs. But realistically, I think as long as you come out and you just take care of business, if it's the second half, Love only has like 2 touchdowns and 110 yards. Don't put him in the game. Please don't. I don't think it's needed. I don't think Stanford wants him in the game. We shouldn't want him in the game because realistically, Jadarian Price can do the same fucking thing as Jeremiah Love most times in those types of games because there's got to be going for the tackles or got to be run the ball a lot. And I don't want to say it, but this is a situation where we could have our Jordan Travis moment. If that were to happen, I knocked on wood, but it is because that's reasonable from the way they've acted before because that's our Jordan Travis is Jeremiah Love. He is the main part of our team. Even though we believe that Jadarian Price is a good running back, he's the second best running back in the class, which is fucking crazy. We have the top 2 running backs in the draft class. But they're still, I think that's what puts us where we are is because we have Jeremiah Love.
I think Jadarian Price is great.
Yeah.
But
he's not Jeremiah Love. Yeah.
Dude, I remember halfway through the season when some people in the group chat were like, Price might be better than Love. And I'm like, you guys got to stop. Like, we got to stop. Because it was the whole, like, Price had, at the time, was breaking runs and Love was kind of getting stuffed. And I'm like, it's also different because teams sell out when Love is on the field. Like, they still do it when Price is on the field, but there's just a different level. When Love is on the field, defense is keying on him. Price, you can you still have to key in on, but it's just a different level. It's kind of like when you're saying you're comparing Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, right? But yeah.
Like Carnell Tate's got to be a first-round draft pick. Jadarian Price could be a third-round draft pick. But, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, we'll get to our next topic, but before we do, a message from our boy Mark.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Thank you for that, Mark. All right. Let's get to the game this week. Notre Dame at Stanford, the battle for the Legends Trophy. Notre Dame, according to our friends over at Novig, is a 32.5 point favorite. The over-under is set at 51.5. How do we feel about this one? How do we feel about the spread? You're our resident bettor and the over-under. Are you touching any of those?
Touching the over. I think if you can get over at 49.5, I take it. Because then you're looking at, when I usually do over-under, I look at what are both teams able to scoring. I think Notre Dame can easily score 40 points. I could see Stanford scoring 10 points in this game. So if you get at 49.5, that's fine. Spread, I don't touch spreads that are that high. I don't. I touched the spread that was that high. Well, I should have touched it last week. It would have fucking covered in the first half. Should have touched that minus 55.5. I made that joke. I said I was going to fucking do it. I didn't do it. Another time I make a joke about taking a bet, I don't do it. It hits. I would think over 40. If you can get, if it's got to go down probably Friday night. They usually go down a point in these situations. If you can get at 49.5 at maybe like around the minus 150 line, then that's good. Minus 32.5. And maybe if you want to alt it at minus 27.5. I don't know what actually I can just do it right now. I can figure out what it is at the alt spread at minus 27.5. It's going to depend on what type of game we're going to see out of Notre Dame. If we see a game like we saw against Navy, we're going to cover this easily. But if we see a game like Boston College where we come out slow and we have to take it at the end, it could not hit. In the Boston College situation, it did not hit. So minus 27.5. You get minus 27.5 at 203. That's not terrible. If you want to maybe alt that, like right now, if you get 47.5 with minus 27.5, you get basically an even line. You get minus 115. That's not a terrible bet to make.
Yeah.
You're playing the most likely number there, because you're most likely you're going to score 7 or 3 points. So you're just doing odds and ends on that, and then us winning by 4 touchdowns. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. So for this game, obviously it's a rivalry game. I don't know how much level of necessarily disdain there is between the two, not just recently, because Stanford has been so terrible for such a, for the last few years, it feels like. Do we feel like there's any opportunity? Obviously, this is a better Stanford team than we played last year. Any opportunity for this game to be somewhat of a struggle for Notre Dame on the road in Palo Alto at a 10:30 p.m. Eastern kick? Any opportunity that you see for that?
Any upsets, I think it could be a struggle. It really could. We could come out starting slow. It's just like at the end, we're not going to match what we did against Syracuse. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
People are going to say like, oh, they could do the same thing they did Syracuse. That's not going to happen. Like, we're going to probably end up starting like 14-0 in this game in the first quarter. It's got to be a slow type of game for us. It really depends. It depends on what we see. It depends on this team's traveling. I want to say this is the first time we're driving to California this year. It's first we're going this year to Stanford. Mm-hmm. Which it does help us. The game's at 10:30 because I'm assuming we're probably gonna get in Friday. Yeah. So that gives us at least 24.
Freeman talked about though, like the challenges of this being a 10:30 kick because it's gonna be so late. Like they haven't played a game this late in what? Like I feel like was it 23 that we played? 23, I think we played Stanford at night.
It was 8 o'clock kick for us. No, it was a 6 o'clock kick for them. So 9 o'clock kickoff for us. But yeah, it's not easy. Like it's not going to be the easiest thing. But out of all the things that can happen for us, it's better if this game's at 10:30 with going across the aisle and going all the way to California. It gives our players more. It's not like I think that realistically he'd rather have a 10:30 game than like a 2 p.m. game, and let's start kickoff at noon.
Well, and if I remember the 2023 game, we started very slow in that one. I want to say we were down 14 to 3 at one point.
I don't remember, but I think we blew them out. We haven't played close at We haven't played close at Stanford since they had what's his name? Was it Bryce Love?
Tanner McKee was the last time they beat us.
Yeah, they had the running back. It was Bryce Love, wasn't it?
Mm-mm.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking they beat us the 1 year of Drew Pine, but at Stanford it might be different. Let me pull up it's 2021. We beat them. That was the end of the year. That was with Cohen. That was at Stanford.
So in 23 we played them at Stanford. I'm looking at the box score there.
From 56 to 23.
We were down to Stanford.
We were down
16 to 7, and then we turned it on late.
We were down 16 to 14 in the second quarter, and then we scored back-to-back touchdowns. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I'm looking at right here. Yeah, so like it could maybe be a game like I could definitely see it being like a first quarter. It's a little closer. Like I think if people are expecting this to come out there and be up 20-0 in the first quarter, then get ready.
Yeah, last year we beat them. Last year we beat them 49-7. So, yeah. Do we think this is a J Love game? Like, if you are you touching any J Love props?
Take him at 3+ touchdowns every week. You're getting great odds for the way he plays. I'm going to check that. What's his 2+ touchdowns might be minus 200 now. They were at plus 105 on Saturday.
Yeah, I feel like doesn't he have like he's got like a record going on right now for the most games with a rushing touchdown, right? Or a touchdown in general.
It might be
Like,
touchdown in general.
yeah.
It's basketball.
He's one away. He's I didn't know this. Did you know that Audric Estime holds the Notre Dame all-time record for the most rushing touchdowns in a season?
Mhm.
You knew that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be like Autry Denson or
Yeah, I
Bettis or
remember there
something
was
like
that
that.
one season where we legit got down to like the 1 yard or like inside the 10, and we did not throw the football. We just ran it with estimate. Jeremiah Love 3+ touchdowns at plus 190. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, throw some money on that. Real quick, if you want to go ahead and get these odds by our friends over at Novig, make sure you go over to Novig, download the app, and use code VOCFBND when you sign up. Make sure you guys are 21 years or older. And if you have a gambling problem, make sure you call 1-800-GAMBLER and seek help. All right, let's go and get to our final topic of the night. Oh, before we do, actually,
There is a question
score predictions real quick.
for this game. 45 to probably 15.
You think we make a field goal? I don't know.
Well, dude, if you told me last week that we were going to start the game up 21-0 before our offense touched the field, I would have fucking said there's our chance to make a field goal. Shockingly, we did not miss a PAT that whole fucking game.
Yeah, well, Eric Schmidt doesn't miss PATs. He just
We went 10 for 10 on PATs. That's more impressive than us winning by 70.
I think Notre Dame wins 42-7. I think it's similar to what it was last year. I think Notre Dame's gonna. I think it's gonna be a slow burn though. I think it's gonna be a slow type of blowout. I think you might see a 14-7 halftime score, but then Notre Dame just pulls away late to get to that 42. All right, let's go ahead and get to our question that we have here, and then we'll go on to our next topic. Frustrated Notre Dame fan 3736 asks, do we miss the playoffs if Bama and BYU win their conference?
Probably.
Yes. Yeah.
The big thing is I do want to look at, and are they going to tell Bama that they think Notre Dame's better than them, even with an Auburn win? And let's say BYU wins the conference, and then Bama loses the SEC championship. Do they move Bama? Do we stay above Alabama? That's my question. And I think that right now we're in an interesting world where they will say yes, because I think they doubt Alabama's ability to be a full recognizable offense. They are a very one-dimensional offense. If they had a running game, they'd be the best team in the country, I think. But they do not. And it hurts their passing game to the point now where they are getting fucked.
Yeah, honestly, if you're Notre Dame this weekend, you're rooting for BYU to win, right? Honestly, actually, it wouldn't hurt if they did lose, because at this point they've already compared Notre Dame and Miami, so that kind of goes out the window. But you're rooting for Bama to lose to Auburn this weekend. I think if Bama loses to Auburn, they're done, right?
If Bama loses to Auburn, we make it no matter what. I think that's a fact.
But yeah, you're rooting for Bama to lose to Auburn. You're rooting for BYU to probably lose to UCF at home, which I just don't think that's not going to happen. And then what else? This is another thing people aren't talking about. Michigan cannot beat Ohio State. Like, I still think if Michigan did, they should still be behind Notre Dame, but you don't want to play with it because that would be the best one in the country, and it would fuck up everything.
It fucked the Big Ten up a lot. It would, because
if Michigan wins, they would play for the Big Ten title.
Yeah. As of right now, it's what's looking like.
Yeah.
As of right now, that's what it's looking like. If Michigan, I forget what the outcome is. I don't know how they do it because there's confusion there in the USC game. But I think overall, they put them in because they have the higher win percentage against uncommon opponents.
Because Oregon, it'd be between Michigan and Oregon. So Oregon lost to Indiana. Michigan would have lost to USC, but Oregon beat USC.
But then you'll have a three-way tie because Ohio State lost. So you wouldn't do the first. Here, one second. I just pull up. Make the Big Ten championship. It was something like it had to do with like point differential of common win or similar wins. Let's see here.
Yeah,
Michigan still make the. It might be here. I can pull it up right here. Michigan defeats Ohio State. Purdue defeats Indiana. Oregon defeats Washington. Oh, so you need Purdue to be. It needs to be a four-way tie across to get to the common point situation. Okay, never mind.
So then Oregon would be in.
Oregon would still be in. Never mind. Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
or if Washington defeats Oregon, anyways. Yeah.
What do you think the committee would do in that situation if Michigan were to beat Ohio State this weekend?
Sucks. Start a shotgun. I don't think they want to be in that world because they've given, and I'm going to be honest here. I don't think Ohio State has a fucking shot of losing this game. I do not think Michigan's good.
I didn't think that. I didn't think
it last year, but I also now you're adding in the fact that Ryan Day's not probably thinking like that. Realistically, Ohio State, if they lose this game, the committee is going to not hear the end of it because they have been defending Ohio State with their really not that great strength of schedule outside Texas. Because their strength of schedule this year kind of got fucked by Penn State not being good. So I think at that point there will be certain things that happen. I don't think that will happen though. It's really I do wonder, did All-State playoff predictor update yet?
Probably not.
As of November 23rd. Okay, yeah, it hasn't updated yet. I do wonder if we get to the 80% on the All-State playoff predictor. Yeah, right now Ohio State strength of schedule is 52nd in the nation. That's insane.
Yeah.
The number one team having a 52nd strength of schedule, that's crazy.
But people tell us
they have a similar strength of schedule as Cincinnati right now. I wanted to point that out.
But they tell us that if we played in a conference, our strength of schedule would be better. Our schedule would be harder. Yeah. Okay.
IU's is IU's is worse than ours. IU also has the Illinois game, which I think helps them, but they don't have anyone out of conference.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Our AP top 25 pick'ems. This one is interesting. Ole Miss.
If you pick Mississippi State, you're a fucking poser.
Ole Miss at Mississippi State. The Lane train looks like it might be leaving the station. How do we feel about that one?
I said this in the group chat. I'm going to say it again. Ole Miss would not be announcing it publicly like the way they're going to if they believe Lane Kiffin is leaving. So I think Ole Miss is going to win. I think Lane Kiffin signs a contract extension on Sunday.
Why wait? That would be my thing. Why?
I don't know. Why announce that you're hiring James Franklin in November?
You know
what? Do it on Sunday.
Well, what's ironic is that I know they were talking about what if Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin Lane Kiffin's told them, hey, I'm coming back, but let's slow play this because one, signing day is December 3rd, right? Two, he's stringing along Florida and LSU. He could fuck over LSU and Florida.
But the other thing, I want that fucking bullshit article about how they're going to offer him $90 million. You have a $25 million guaranteed spending
for a roster
on NIL every year. I don't believe that for that is horse shit. That's the biggest smokescreen I've ever seen. That means that LSU, one, firing Brian Kelly, are going to find a way to find money to pay Lane Kiffin that much.
They have money. They have boosters.
They have boosters money, but they don't have that much money to guarantee $25 million a year.
Well, I think that's part of why they're trying to weasel out of paying Brian Kelly.
I think it is too, but I don't even think that thing's not going to work out. It's not. But also,
the problem is though that LSU, they were just talking about LSU hasn't interviewed anybody. The difference, no, LSU has not. Nakos was talking about this.
It's not public. It's not public. They have interviewed people.
according to NACOS, they said
Now, having someone come on campus, and then interviewing them by talking to them over Skype or Zoom or Team, or we're not Teams, but you know what I mean. That's
but
different.
according to NACOS, this is like they're Lane Kiffin or bust right now. Florida, on the other hand, it's been reported that Florida, they want Kiffin, but they're prepared that it's not Kiffin, and that's why they've been interviewing other coaching candidates.
They're interviewing other people. They're just not bringing them on campus. Lane Kiffin's the only one to come on campus. No team is going to go out there and only interview one coach, and that coach be a coach that's currently in the playoffs on a Power 4 school in their division.
I wouldn't be surprised if LSU.
It's not like I understand that we keep hearing like, oh, Lane Kiffin went to campus. He's the only one to do. Guys, there's a whole process for this shit. One, they're probably doing this now because they know Kenny Dillingham's got to probably leave Arizona State. They know Matt Campbell is probably wanting to leave Iowa State. There's a lot of guys. I'm saying it now. You're going to see a lot of coaches get poached. You're going to see a lot of coaches get poached in the Big 12. I could see possibly 3 Big 12 coaches getting moved.
Well, did you hear the Lincoln Riley to Florida rumor?
It's I think USC would be better off with it, but it's not going to happen.
Florida wouldn't. Florida would be fucking dog shit.
The Swamps got to start wearing fucking finger polish now, or fingernail polish. You're going to do the nails for every game.
All right, you're going Ole Miss.
I'm going Ole Miss. I don't think they lose this game.
I'm taking Mississippi State because even if Lane Kiffin doesn't leave, there's so much distraction with this. We saw how they came out against Florida last week. Very sluggish. If you do that again, Mississippi State's better than Florida. Not by much, but they're better than Florida. This is a rivalry game on the road. You can't have your team focused on other things when you have a rivalry game to this magnitude. Give me Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. All right. Utah at Kansas.
Utah.
Kansas needs to win this for a bowl game. I'll take Utah, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close.
The thing is, Utah has to win this to stay alive.
Yeah.
Utah's still alive for the playoffs. If BYU loses, then Utah's in the Big 12 championship. And I like Utah against Texas Tech better than BYU at this point. Utah just looks like they've gotten better since they played them.
All right, Georgia at Georgia Tech.
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. All right.
Which I will say this. If Georgia Tech beats Georgia, I think it's withstandable to say that Georgia Tech or Georgia should go outside the top 12. Or now go to the bottom part of the playoffs, and Georgia Tech should maybe be above Miami. I think that's withstandable.
If Georgia Tech beats Georgia, they should jump Miami.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. We're not going to pick this game, but North Texas's head coach leaving before the end of the season. That's fucking wild.
He's coaching out the end of the season. He's still going to coach.
They're letting him do that? Okay.
Yeah. They knew he was leaving. Supposedly this was agreed. He already told them and they didn't want to announce it, but then it got leaked. Supposedly it was already agreed upon. Supposedly it was agreed upon last week. And he told North Texas was fine.
So if they make the playoff, he's
still coaching. He's still coaching. But North Texas said that they weren't going to say anything about it until they have to. And then, yeah.
All right.
It just got leaked by 1-3 on 3.
Texas A&M at Texas.
We're not going to do Indiana, Purdue?
No, we're not.
Let's see. Bro, the battle for the fucking barrel.
The battle for the worst team in the state of Indiana.
Ball State's playing Evansville?
Oh, man. All right.
Give me A&M. I don't think Texas could win this game. They could. I don't think it's going to happen, though. It would be a very shocking game. And realistically, Arch Manning, not a terrible end of the season at all.
All right.
Even with a loss.
I'm going A&M in a blowout.
I wouldn't say that.
Arizona at Arizona.
Actually, no, it will be poetic justice if Texas gets like the 1 yard line on 1st and goal and then goes 4-and-out and can't get in the end zone. It would be poetic justice.
Yeah.
And then Texas is 8-4 after making fun of Texas A&M beat 8-4.
Texas will be the new Texas 8-4.
Yeah.
All right. Arizona at Arizona State.
I really like Arizona in this matchup. Even though it's at Arizona State,
But
I
at
think
Tempe, like
but
that,
you got to look at it like the fan situation there. The fans are going to be able to go because it's a holiday. And let's
and
be
it's a
real here.
Friday night game.
Arizona State students are not in-state students. So, like, I think Arizona's a good play here. I would pay, if you're taking money here, I take Arizona on the spread. I'm -1.5. And I take the over too. I think both these defenses are not.
So it's a night game. It's a Friday night game in Tempe. Things get very, very weird.
It gets crazy in there. It gets crazy in Arizona on Friday nights.
Oh yeah, I've heard the parties there are fucking insane.
I wasn't even talking about that, Bogue.
But yeah,
I was talking about the state in a whole.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take Arizona State in that one. All right. The game: Ohio State at Michigan. Give me Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm
And
taking Ohio State. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be pissed. Just because then Michigan fans could talk shit. It's crazy to think how crazy this year has been. Michigan at 9-2 is currently not in the playoffs and not even close to getting in that large bid without this win.
If Michigan beats Ohio State and I have to listen to fucking Neff in the group chat for Jesus. Oh fuck. All right, I'm taking Ohio State. Texas
might be set on fire.
Texas Tech at West Virginia.
Tickets to this game are $19. That's fucking crazy. There's a reason why Texas Tech's got to win by 30. So give me Texas Tech.
Yeah, give me the Red Raiders. All right, Miami at Pittsburgh.
Miami.
Fuck it. Give me Pitt. Give me Pitt in the upset.
-6.5. I think they're playing for this game to be a close game, though.
I'm definitely taking Pitt in the points. I might hedge it.
Frey will be smart and take +8.5.
I might hedge it, right, and do Miami to win, but Pitt to cover. Just because I think that's
it. If I were you, Frey, I take +8.5 on Pitt on the points.
Okay.
It gives you a touchdown and a 2. So yeah.
All right. Oregon at Washington. Oregon has not beaten Washington.
Can we point out we did fucking Texas Tech, West Virginia, but not Purdue IU? What's this communist bullshit? Give me Oregon.
Oregon hasn't beaten Washington.
They're only a 6.5-point favorite. That's crazy.
Dude, they haven't won in Seattle and
I don't care.
Pre-COVID. Like,
if Oregon loses this game, then they might not make the playoffs.
I'm taking Oregon too, but fuck, man. That's going to be a tough one. LSU at Oklahoma.
There ain't no love in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Just a whistle on a long black train.
It'd be funny as fuck if Oklahoma were to lose to LSU.
Yeah. Which I do want to say this. People are giving Brian Kelly's son shit for what he did during senior night. Nah, fuck that. I would have done the same thing. I want to make that clear.
Free my boy BK.
Did you hear the shit that happened? They wouldn't let his dad walk out there on senior night with him. I would have done the same fucking thing.
Well, I know, but you ever call your dad my boy?
Who gives a shit?
It was kind of cringe.
At least he didn't use a certain word.
Yeah, I'm taking Oklahoma. Vandy at Tennessee. Tough one.
Oh yeah, I want to make it clear I took Oklahoma. Give me Tennessee, and if not, give me Vandy on the points too. I think it's gonna end up being a 3-point game.
I'm taking Vanderbilt in that one. All right. Virginia Tech, Virginia.
Give me Virginia on the points, and just for them to win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cavaliers in that one. The Iron Bowl, Alabama at Jordan Hare at night. They say there's witch or was it devil magic that they do in
Ari's
Georgia.
back. Ari's back.
Uh,
I'm gonna take Alabama, but give me Auburn on. I'd hedge at plus 7.5, but give me Auburn on the points. But give me Alabama on the outright. Give me Alabama.
yeah, I think Alabama's a better team. I will say though, Auburn's defense is really good. Alabama's rush offense is just dog doo doo. This could be a very, fuck it. Give me Auburn. Give me War Eagle, the Fighting Deuce Knights, in the upset in this one. All right, UCLA at USC.
Real quickly, breaking news: Ari admits he's wrong.
Oh shit! Where's this at?
He said Miami is. He retweeted. He quoted Pete Sampson's tweet. Miami is basically toast. I was wrong.
I want to have a good faith discussion about this. I legit don't know what Notre Dame did this season other than beat USC and roll over. Truly awful teams to be in this conversation. So he didn't apologize.
Well, he did admit he was wrong about how they were going to see Miami. He said that the best thing Notre Dame did this season was almost beat Texas A&M, and Miami is fortunate to beat a combo because they beat them. Got it. I think Ari's just a fucking idiot.
I don't think. Oh, man.
They beat a top 25 team by 30 points on the road. Who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Every game, the first game matters. Every other game doesn't.
Yeah. Anyway, UCLA, USC. Who are we taking? Battle for Los Angeles.
USC should win that. If they don't, Lincoln Riley should be fired. But they won't do that. But they should fire his ass.
Yeah.
They should let him walk to Florida.
Give me USC. All right. The final one, SMU at California. SMU wins. They're in the ACC championship.
You know, there's one thing that's happened this year. A coach gets fired. Well, okay, besides for Penn State because they suck. Coach gets fired at these programs, and the team comes out and they play with a new heart. It's not insane. California at home, SMU coming to their house. SMU realistically, beside Louisville, they had a really good win against Louisville. Louisville was also hurt a decent amount.
Yeah. Did you hear that story that Miller Moss got hurt while lifting weights?
Yeah,
like that. Fucking insane.
If I guess not the most. Miller Moss is just himself. At some point, you just have to accept, like, hey, you know what? Maybe you're a little bit of Jeremiah Love. Just not on the football side of it. I don't know how you hurt yourself lifting weights. But, like, why are you lifting that much?
Well, it's like Tyler Buckner. It's like Tyler Buckner hurting himself down a flight of stairs. Like,
okay, that's different. That's completely different. That is a random thing. Like, he had to be lifting. Like, he had to be maxing out to hurt himself like that, or something similar.
Well, I want to say it was he.
Are you maxing out midseason?
I want to say it was he dropped it. Like, he dropped the weight on his.
Someone told me that he was Someone told me that he was lifting up and he couldn't get above, and then he dropped it down, like to drop the barbell down. The barbell flipped off, and it fell off the side, and that's how it ended up hurting. Let me look it up. I think that's what it was. I might be wrong. That's what I heard from a SMU fan.
Yeah, that would. Ooh. Yeah, that's bad. I'm going to take SMU. Are you taking Cal in this one?
I'm taking Cal.
All right. Well, while he looks that up real quick, I want to thank all of the 568 people that tuned in tonight. I'm sure most of you are from over Twitter. If you guys like the show and want to go over and support us, make sure you go over to the Voice of College Football Notre Dame on YouTube. Drop a sub, like, comment. We go live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Did you find it, by the way?
Yeah, all it says is that during weightlifting, he dropped the weight, and then at some point, the weight crushed his foot. It doesn't say how it did. If it was the way they're saying.
I feel like that never happens.
It shouldn't.
Like, I get it if you were lifting and you hadn't done it much, But these are athletes. These are basically professional athletes that have done this shit.
Yeah, they are professional
It's-
athletes. You're getting paid. You're a professional
yeah.
athlete.
But like,
This should not be happening. And if this doesn't basically describe how Louisville's season has gone since losing the Cal, then I don't know what does.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you guys for all tuning in. We will see you guys back next week. I have been your host, Ryan Verville. This has been my co-host, Ben. We will be back next week. As always, stay safe and go Irish.
Irish.